Hey, it's Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it's Wednesday. It's February 11th. This will be our chart lesson for today. Beautiful day outside here. I didn't trade very long today. I traded till about 10:30, I think, and I cut out here. So I missed all the fireworks. I mean, it just was brutal right through here. At first I was thinking when I first looked at this, I would have sat here for another brutal hour. But then the fireworks started, nice sell off, and then man, look at it go here. And I'm guessing this is when the news hit right in here, um, the bond sales or whatever. I'm assuming that's what that was. Um, but it's interesting how it looks like it actually started early. So yeah, see, it started. I think the bond news was right around lunchtime my time, and so that didn't come till down here. So this is really not news. Looks like this. I don't know. I'd have to go just kind of do some research, but usually I don't spend the time to do that because I don't care one way or the other. All I know is it did what pretty much what you're expecting. It was a trading range, and we failed out the top. And if you measure this top range where most of the price action was there, you can see the equal overshoots on each side. And if you measure the where the majority of the price action was, and you go measure it down, you see you're looking for prices to come down here, and we overshot that a little bit, about the same as we overshot the top side. And notice how it found support here, and off it goes to the upside. And so that's that's a pretty typical kind of price action trading range kind of action. Is it'll usually fail out one side and trap everybody, and it may do that several times before it actually moves in any direction. And normally prices will continue on in the direction they traded into the range. So we traded down into this range, and notice we traded down when we started forward again. This was pretty much yesterday's price action that started that, but it went into today. But let's just measure it and see. You look at where a measured move would have been the perfect low of this range. We actually went further than that. If you measure from here, we went a good bit further, but I think the downtrend started back right about in there. And and that gives you a perfect measured move to the low of this equal two-sided trading range. And this probably was ended up just being the midpoint. I'll change it, make it look a little different just to differentiate. And that's pretty much what we had, a trading range. And till late in the afternoon, this thing really broke out here. I don't think there was any news around 2 o'clock that I'm aware of, unless something happened that I hadn't seen the news yet. So, but again, I don't pay a whole lot of attention to the news. I'll be honest with you. It doesn't matter if you know it in advance; you still don't know what the market's going to do, so it doesn't really help you. Um, that's just my opinion. I don't care anything about it. All I want to do is know when it's coming, so I can make sure I'm flat, um, or at least got myself in a safe position where I don't get burned by it. That's all I care about the news. So uh, even during the news, the price action works. I've shown that multiple times. It's still valid. It just moves real fast, and the bars are bigger. It's more volatile and moves faster. So that makes it a little harder to trade. So I like to be flat, and I don't want to be sitting on a 5 point profit and suddenly the news come out and it dropped 5 quick points and stop me out and give it all back. So I generally like to be flat. If I've got a runner going on a really good trade, I might hang on. If the price action says we're going higher, I might hang on. But generally, I'm flat before the news comes out. And my personal opinion is that's all you really need to know about news, just so you can know that to be out of the market or be flat or no, or just so you don't get caught off guard. But trying to trade the news or figure out what the news is ahead of time, or I don't think it matters because I don't think you still will know what the market's going to do. So anyway, enough about that. Let's talk about the trades. I'm going to back out just a little bit here. And it definitely looked real rangy early on. When you come in and overnight has not made any more bars than that, the volumes are very low. I mean, here's the open yesterday. And the entire overnight, we only made the bars from here to here. And just in comparison, look, we opened here the day before, and the market opened here. Look how many more bars, and that's still not a very big day compared to what we. Let's go back over here and look. We opened right here, and by 8:30 we were, trading here. You can just look at this, and there's not much price movement. We're only talking 5 points or so, and not many bars at all. And the few bars there are kind of big. So, it's just because there's not much volume. And so a 2,000 tick bar lasted a long time during the overnight last night. So, interesting start to the day. Um, I had a feeling it might be a little bit slow. Um, I really didn't see a good setup until a little later in the day, morning. As you can see, you might have considered going long right here. Uh, it's close enough. It's a failed break lower, no matter how you look at it, but it's close enough to being a failed second entry short. I think it actually worked. Let me just measure it real quick. Even if you use a stop, which that's not a very good. I mean, it's just dangerous going short right there into that support on a real slow morning. 58.75. So yeah, it would have been a 4 tick failure. So it wasn't a good setup. You definitely probably would have used a limit order there on a setup like that. And if you had of, you would have got a better. You could have got a tick or two better, and it would have worked out. Um, Sorry about that, but anyway, I just didn't think it was worth. I thought you were better off to see if you don't get a long setup, and of course it fails instantly, and you get a failed second entry short right there, and just go long, quick, easy move, pulls back, and this is a double bottom, so you can treat this like a new low, and you get another what looks like another failed second entry short. It breaks lower and turns. It goes out the high side. It's right off the first couple of swings there, so right off, it kind of sets the trend line and confirms it. Um, Look at it, look how big that bar is, man. It just took off. That was a quick, easy move. They had a lot of people probably short here, and they all had to exit. And then you get another little two-legged pullback. This actually went higher. We had an entry just like this yesterday. It looks like a two-legged pullback. I marked it in green. It didn't close on its high, and the next bar didn't break higher and ended as a doji inside. That's telling you something. That's a clue. People are always asking me, what made you decide, what made you, what was your clue that, hey, you probably don't want to take that trade? And that's it right there. The fact that this little doji closed as a doji, plus it was inside, it couldn't go higher. Um, that's telling you something. That's just a clue that, the market's kind of in limbo. People are unsure of probably there's no bias really. It's just kind of a little momentary trading range, and it would have worked if you would have gone along there. But I just think it's real suspect. Even though it's off the trend line, it looks like a two-legged pull. There's enough reasons the aggressive trader is probably going to. I definitely would try to use a limit order there on that one if I took it. But I'll be honest with you, I don't like that setup a whole lot. And then it turns back down, and now you got clear resistance up there. Third touch of it turns down. It was tempting to go short right there, but we hadn't brought a break of that though. So you got to follow the rules and just wait, be patient, and then look what happens. You get a first entry, pull back. There's a second entry long there, and it looks like it's going to fail. It breaks lower, but look at all that overlap and stuff. Again, I think you're better off just to sit tight. You don't want to be, it's not a good short, even though there's a little what looks like a long trap. But wait and see what happens. So instead, you end up getting the short trap and a chance to go long and look at it go. And there's no magic there other than just following the rules. The rules say we'll probably get a retest. But like yesterday, you didn't get a retest, and if you went long, you might have got trapped. So, what's the difference? There's a little bit of a difference. There's enough room to get out before you get here. You're really just sitting tight. And notice this though. Notice how prices are working down and they pull back. That is the first attempt to go lower after the new low. So that's that is what really traps people because most people are waiting on that second attempt. So even though you had a second entry long going long right there, you'd only had one leg down, one move down. There wasn't that additional. So that's another thing. And I'm trying to throw more of my thinking and my thought process into this because a lot of people are asking me about that. Explain why you didn't want to take that trade. Well, that's what I'm trying to do, and I'm going to try to get a few more details in there if I can, if there's stuff like that that comes to mind, just to help some people that, I know people want to pick my brain of what I was thinking or why didn't I think it was a good setup or why I did, and so I'm trying to do that. But anyway, nice long there, and you figure you're going to get to here, but it just bust on through, and so you know, if you had, and a runner would have been good here, so you could have exited your runner. Once you made this doji, if you held on your runner and didn't just exit at the highs here, that would have been where to exit. Because that's a good chance you're turning back down. And it's really tempting again to go short there, and that's a second entry short counting off this low. Look, you notice when you made a little lower low there, pull back first entry, pull back second entry. So it was tempting to go short there. But in my estimation, you're better off to wait most times to get a second entry off the top side. And that doesn't come till here. And it's not a beautiful bar either. Look how it's a kind of a doji. So I think you want to enter on a limit order here. Let it tick lower and drop that limit order back up in here. And that's exactly what it does. It backs up a little bit and then it takes down. And you're looking for prices to probably go to the low side. But measure that first leg, and you're looking for that as a minimum. And that's where it bounced the next time before you get a breakout pullback short right there. And so I always use that stuff. And then notice right here, we made a low, pullback first in. You had a first entry, and then you had a second entry off the low. It really made a new low there, so you almost could count that one over. But there's actually a failed second entry long off this high. Look, pull back first entry, pull back second entry, it fails and it turns down, but you don't want to go short right there. Not after a doji and two bars stacked up. See if it'll give you a trap, and it does. It ticks higher and then it turns down right off the trend line, and boom, you go short right there. And that's a quick, easy move. And that's also a breakout pullback short from right here. And this time you got a good signal bar. And notice too, let me just show you this. Notice what happens a lot of times when it doesn't close on its low. Sometimes it will just take on off, but usually it comes back, and it came back right here, and it gives you another chance to enter. So if you don't feel comfortable using a stop right there, you could let it break lower and drop a limit order, and you could have got filled all the way to right here. A couple of ticks back into that bar, and that helps you get in without breaking the 2-point rule and all that. So keep that in mind. That happens a lot. And then of course what happens? We bounce right here. I don't really see a good setup to go long. That was the first break of this channel. So we really never got a retest here. We tried and ended up getting a short trap and going longer, just like we had right here. On the way up. This is almost a repeat pattern of this right here. You get your break, you get that little trap lower, and just go. Look at that. That's how bullish that bar is. That's a perfect setup. And people remembered it from here, most likely, and look at it go. Makes another new high. And again, a runner would have worked perfect right there. And then you get up here, and this is why you don't go short the first break lower. Of course, that's not a very good setup, but look how it happens. It bounces and goes higher, and then it turns down. That was really tempting there. We had the break and the new high, but again, I think you're better off to wait and see if you don't get a second entry, and you got one right here. And again, this one was kind of interesting. You got that little failed break higher, and then it turns lower. It looks similar to this, except this one didn't fail. It went straight down. But guess why it didn't? Because it's a failed break higher out of the trading range, and this is getting us back into the trading range. So it's a little different. But when this broke higher, You definitely don't want to be going long there above that doji, but when it broke higher and turned down, just have your stop right there, a sell stop, and look what it trapped everybody long, and they had to run for the doors. And then you get it comes back up and it tests this level again. It ticks one tick higher and turns down, and it went above this bar first, and then it comes down and goes right out the other side. You could have used a stop here. Um, with that big a bar, I'd recommend a limit order, and you see it would have gotten filled way back to here. But even if you use a stop, this was a good trade. But if you didn't, it gives you a second entry short right here, so another chance to enter. There's a lot of bars stacked up there. It's congestion, so it's getting iffy by that time. If you didn't enter right here, um, this one was questionable. But now you've got a lower high. You got triple tops, a trap, a lower high. This is the critical line right here. So there's reasons to enter that trade. Excuse me. And so you might have considered going short there. Um, but I think if you didn't enter here, this one was more questionable. This one's much more aggressive. And both of them would have worked. They end up moving on down, and then it bounces. And you get a second entry short right here, counting off the low, but you're not really trending down yet. Look how flat that is. You're just finding your resistance. This resistance, I probably would have moved this up to here by that time, because that's where you get the most touches with the closes now. So that's where I would have probably had that. And notice that one tick higher. This was a pretty setup, and it turns and goes right out the other side, and the bottom falls out of it. And they finally gave up to the upside, and once it started heading lower, everybody knew what was coming in, and they just kept tricking people into getting long here. And but anyway, that was a great short. If I'd have been here, I'd have been all over that. And there's a failed. This is a breakout pullback short. But you could almost treat this like, notice that's a new high, it went higher than there. So there's first entry pullback, and it's almost like a little second entry long. It never really broke higher, but it looks real close. And then you get the break, and it's also a breakout pullback short. It's the first break of the little channel coming down too. So I like that short, thinking that, hey, we're probably going to get a measured move. And you might have even measured it from here by that point. And I'm guessing this is probably an equal measured move down to here. We went just a little bit further, so but that would have got you in a little bit further down here as well. So, or kept you in it a little longer if you had a runner, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And then we bounce, and I think it's risky going long right there. The more I think about it, though, I'm going to go ahead and at least mark it green, because look how far we are away from the EMA. We already had our break and a couple of legs down. This thing's overdue to come back to the EMA. So it's a pretty good opportunity. And let me just show you this. You've had your break and a move to a new low. You got to be careful counter trend trading, though, because sometimes this trade will really burn you. So it's definitely aggressive, but these can be some of the best trades. Look how far that is back to the EMA, and look how long we've been away. We're way overdue. And so aggressive traders probably going to take that. And so I'm going to mark. And then you had a failed second entry short here. Notice the new low, pull back first entry, pull back second entry. But look at all that congestion right there. That's a clue that this thing may fail. That's the very reason you wouldn't go short there. Look at those dojis and that, because somebody else asked me about a trade today that's very similar to that yesterday. And they're like, well, how did you know not to take that? He said, my bar setup looked better than yours, but what made you, I definitely wouldn't go short there. I'd wait and see if they got a trap, and I might go long, but this is not even, with everything still below the EMA and really fighting right there, I don't know if I'd go long. It is a trap. There's enough reasons to say, hey, I'll go long, but if I did, I would definitely use a limit order there. And I think you'd probably need an extra tick or something. Let me just see if you use a stop. Your stop entry would be 2057, and see that only went 3 ticks, so you would have gotten trapped right there. So that's one that, in my opinion, you're better off just to wait. And then guess what? You get 2 legs back to the trend line and a bounce there. That's not a perfect bar, but notice how everything closed inside the line. Even though it didn't close on its high, it's close. It's 2 legs back. Um, it's right off the trend line. There's just a lot of reasons. It's back inside this support line across here. Um, well, you can't see that, but this would have been the measured move down, and you can see we already had a little support across there, and that line, I would have moved it to right there because that's where you get the most touches with the closes, and so there's a lot of reasons to like that level right there, and so I'm gonna go along right there and look for at least a measured leg like this up, hoping for a measured leg like that, and there's leg one, and then your two-legged correction. And that would have got you back to the midline kind of, and but it went much higher than that. And then you get another two-legged pullback right back to the trend line again, and look at that bullish reversal bar. People realize the trend line's good now, and there it goes again. And measure, you might even measure it right there and bring it over here, and you can see where does that get you? Right back up to the highs, and that's where we got before you got another correction. And that took you into the 2 o'clock hour, so nothing else going after that. I didn't mark anything after that, but there's you another nice second entry, failed second entry short trap off the EMA to go higher if if you were still trading. But that one's, I just don't think I'd go long. It's so close to that resistance. You see what happened, man? They busted it right on through there, and it started hitting all the stops, and off it goes. So pretty good trading day, and nothing really out of the unusual except this. You were looking for it to turn down here, so this shouldn't even catch you off guard. And then you're looking for a bounce down here, so this really shouldn't catch you off guard. Um, it alerted you before most of the reversals. The only one you didn't really get a chance. It actually tried to go low here and couldn't. But one thing you got to realize, the reason we probably didn't get a retest is because we'd already hit the lows, and most people saw this as a range, and now they know it's going to the other side. And so not much more you can say about today. Pretty good trading day. I was done early, met my target, my usual target, done early. So I left, just thinking it was going to be a horrible day, but there were some nice fireworks here. Not a whole lot of trades after lunchtime, after about 12, but still the ones that were here were really, every one of these, runner, 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 good, I mean, nice runners. You catch one of those, you can make an extra couple of days, weeks worth of trading. And that's when you really start to affect your bottom line. So, but anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. We'll be back again to do it tomorrow. Hope you had a good trading day. And this is Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com. And we'll see you next time.